Hey guys, Letter Magic here, and I just wanted to make a quick video today because I was running around doing other stuff all day, and I'm going to be picking up massive explosions in the background because welcome to Independence Day. It's when Americans, I guess, recreate the Revolutionary War. Hey British people. Well, I mean, first of all, we clearly won the language in the war. I know it didn't say that in the treaty. It was on a page that got lost. So, you know, it's color without the letter U. Why would there be a U in there? And secondly, oh, you guys don't see the importance of gun ownership? Since we kicked your asses out of our country with our guns? I guess somebody doesn't learn from the past. Hey, speaking of that, Wizards of the Coast. I wanted to make a video on all of these when they happened, but it would have been a 30-second video, so I thought, well, hell, let's put them all together. I don't think I have pictures of technically any of these because I didn't bookmark them, but you could just use your imagination. But I mean, we've all seen stuff like this. So, first of all, we've got reports of Jumpstart cards coming with the word void just printed across them. This one I don't believe. I think they themselves faked it with some kind of stamp or ink or something. Or they got them from another source. I can't find one other reference to any card ever having this printed on it, which means that it's not something the facility does. Once again, I think that's fake. However, we've got Core Set 2021, where the cards in every single booster are coming out with like a gouge out of the side of them. So you stack them up and it's like somebody just took, I don't know, what would you even call that? Like an edge sander and just went and just cut a groove in all the cards. Then we've got somebody reporting that Chandra's spellbook, they bought, I think it was 5 or 10 of them or something like that, and every single one had the wrong card in the wrong slot. So they got 2 of one and 0 of the other. Speaking of that, some of the early LGSs that got the Fetch Land Masters in, I forgot what the real name of it is, who cares? Well, one, on at least one that they opened, there was a repeated Fetch Land and then one was missing. I think it was in their favor slightly, because it was one of the more expensive ones, but if somebody buys it or wants it, they want all 5. And then I have a confirmed report. I 100% trust this because I know who it is, and there is sort of evidence. They opened one in front of the shopkeeper because they wanted to be like, hey, let's see these, you know, because it was the first one. They opened the Fetch Lands Masters, and it had all the packaging, it had the, I don't know what else is in there, but everything was in there except the cards. So it had all the padding, the packaging, everything, but not the actual cards. And let's just say it was a good thing the store owner was watching. 3 pre-releases ago, which by the way I didn't go to the M21 one just because it's still, in my opinion, not safe to get a crowd of people and sit in a room together for 6 hours. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, it looks like probably isn't bad, especially if you're, you know, feet apart with cleaning plus a mask. But all evidence is suggesting that perhaps the duration of exposure is extremely important in how you get sick, or how badly you get sick, if at all, I should say. Or get sick, what am I talking about? Become symptomatic. Get sick could mean literally anything. So anyway, yeah, like 3 pre-releases ago, I opened up a pack and it had no promo, and so I had to get a replacement and have the staff take my word for it that it didn't come with a promo, and the exact pre-release before that, we had one that had no promo. And the one before that, 2 people got no die, no D20, and I was one of them. So I've personally been screwed over by Wizards twice. And I kind of talked with some people, some store owners, people who would know, people who've seen some volume, people who open a lot. I said, has the defect rate generally gotten worse in like the last 1 to 2 years? And they said, absolutely yes. Unequivocally 100% yes. Now, okay, COVID, cool. Maybe you have replacement staff, less trained staff. Maybe you have less quality control and quality assurance staff. Not that I'm convinced Magic card printing facilities have any concept of what quality assurance is, or anybody working in that department. But, you know, somebody runs the equipment wrong, somebody rushes something, somebody doesn't, you know, make a check every half hour, they make a check every 3 hours. You know, I worked in a graphics facility, not one that prints Magic cards, but, you know, similar. And if you gotta go, you gotta go. And if you were closed for like a month or 2, yeah, you gotta go. You gotta do stuff, you know, with some shortcuts, you know what I mean? So if that's the entirety of the cause, I'll give them the pass on it. But honestly, ever since I've started playing the game like 7 years ago, there have been non-stop quality problems, misprints, and, you know, I used to collect misprints until they got so prevalent that nobody gave a crap anymore, which was about 5 years ago. I did see once in person that there was a card that had, I think, the same card printed mirrored, so backwards, onto the face of the card, but only the text and in a different language. Now, stuff like that, How do you even have that happen? Like, just think about it. Send it through the press again after it's already been printed for a different print job in a different digital file, and then somehow print it backwards. They're pulling off misprints that I don't think are even possible. I'm not sure that the person themselves didn't just fake it with some kind of chemical or something, I don't know. But I don't know how that would happen. It had to have been machine residue for something and they didn't clean it, and this was like the first English one to go out or something. I don't know. I really don't know. Here's another one that I can't figure out. I've gotten packs, even up until fairly recently, where just one of the cards is upside down. I've seen 3 where it's the entire uncommon spot. I've seen that. And I've seen the entire pack upside down. That actually makes sense. That makes a lot more sense. And I would say that the most egregious thing I've ever seen was probably Oath of the Gatewatch. We actually got to go back that far. Out of the 6,000 to 10,000 uncommons that I opened from that set, about half of them, 50%, we're talking like 30, 40, 50 boxes worth, about half of them were cut so far to the left or right, I want to say left, that you could see the white dots, like well into that. And it wasn't far enough over that you could see the border of the next card, or I could have totally gotten some money for that. They were basically just unsellable. I mean, if somebody doesn't care, you could tell what damn card it was, but it would be an embarrassment to sell it, and I certainly couldn't sell it on eBay or TCG Player. That's for damn sure. So if you're not familiar, if you have a product problem, you can send it to Wizards and they will replace it, but it has to be like pretty clearly defective. I mean, just during the video, during the last video where I opened the whole box of M21, you know that foil swamp I pulled? Despite it not getting printed in Texas, which is notorious for equipment that does this, it had diagonal linear scratches in it. And I mean like significant, like knock it down a couple grades level. So I'm getting some reports they may have been made in Belgium. I'm getting other reports that they're in Japan. I mean, from that order, I would say Japan, but I don't know that Belgium doesn't do it. Then I heard reports that this one was mixed and you don't really know. And then I heard a report that on the box, which I wasn't able to see one, like the actual case box, it says Made in America, which clearly it was not. Not on that paper with that ink in that order. No, I don't think Texas did that. Let me just throw that one out there. But the store owner that told me that could have been mistaken. We didn't actually go pull a box and look at it. So, I mean, everything's just a disaster. It has been ever since I started playing. Seems to be getting worse. I'd say giving me 3, 4, 5,000 misprints is probably pretty unacceptable. That's the worst thing I've ever seen. Well, no, the worst thing I've ever seen, I gotta give it to the Fetchland Masters where you open it and there's nothing inside. I mean, at least with Oath, I got cards. So here's the thing. Do you really think Wizards of the Coast is gonna buy it? Do you really think they're going to believe you when you write it and say, everything was there but the cards, trust me, take my word for it? I mean, if 100 people report it, maybe it's more plausible, but even then you know there's going to be some fakers. If people like hear, oh, you opened up one that was empty and they honored it, well, damn, I'm going to go tell them it was empty. Somebody will tailgate on it and get some free cards. It's either that or you go to, hey, I dropped like 100, 150 bucks on this thing and there's no product in it. What the hell? Do something about it. And they're like, well, we don't believe you. I'm not sure what's worse. Like from a customer standpoint, I know what's worse from like a monetary standpoint. It costs them what, like $1 to print that damn product? Frickin' send another one out. But then we got like COVID printing shortages and then what are they going to do? I mean, they have to send you something else. Not to mention, they don't sit on a whole lot of these in their vault. I mean, they maybe have like 20, 30 replacements or maybe 100, I don't know. So if they get 200 complaints and 200, misprints or defective product, they are screwed. So it's like, yeah, they have a system in place for it, but like, wow. So lately, the misprints have just been across the board, just everything you could possibly think of and some stuff provably that you couldn't think of because you honestly think it's impossible. So yeah, they have a program for it, but before you go sending in those defective misprints, some misprints are worth money. I could break down which ones in my experience are worth money and aren't, but I kind of got out of the misprint, thing when I started getting them by the thousands. But there is a Facebook group and probably a subreddit and a couple other places where people can, make offers, bid, buy them, that kind of stuff. And I've seen some pretty tasty reprints go for, 20, 30 bucks. I've seen them go for upwards of 1,000. If you get basically anything with 4 cards showing on it, that's like so unheard of. Just a handful of them exist from what I've seen, and people are willing to drop mad money on stuff like that. So if it's off-printed where you could see 2 cards, okay, cool, but if it's off-printed in 2 directions at once and you could see 4 cards, ooh boy. Any kind of double prints, like blatant ones, I've seen ones where clearly they did something wrong or overpressurized the ink or something, so the text is like super bold. It doesn't really go. But there's some, I mean, feel free to, you know, just jump online, just look for, just Google like Magic the Gathering misprints or misprint, you know, sales or something, I don't know. And you'll probably find one of the many communities out there. And usually they're cool about, you know, you just take a photo and like, hey, is this worth anything, any interest? You might get a $2 offer, or somebody will just be like, no, that's pretty common, or you might get like, hey, I'll offer you my entire life savings. So yeah, don't go sending a $100 misprint back to Wizards to get your, you know, $2 Mythic back. One last thing, I was on KrepsiK's stream a while ago, and he had pulled from a collection a suspicious-looking, unusual flashlight test, we'll put it that way, cleanse. An original cleanse, like we're talking 4th edition or whatever, whatever it was. Oh, actually, yeah, it was 4th edition because all of us were saying, wait, it doesn't appear to have the right type of glue and it lets too much light through. For 4th edition specifically, they had 2 different printers work on it. One did a tiny, tiny volume, and once they saw how wrong they were, they cut them off. Believe it or not, I think I heard it was like tops, and they didn't use bonded paper at all. So no blue glue or like less of it or not blue or something like that. So it looks like a counterfeit, but also there were some counterfeits made back then. Can you imagine a 4th edition alternate of a cleanse? I mean, I would put that at $5,000 just with my knowledge. So he's like, I am getting my ass a black light because that's how you check them out. I mean, you just fan through some cards and it has like a polarization filter, some kind of UV blocking gloss coat or something. It will be night and day how different they look when you're fanning through them compared to normal cards from 4th edition, because the white ink won't do anything. Unfortunately, his card glowed like Chernobyl, so it was probably just a counterfeit. And, you know, I don't think counterfeit cleanses are worth anything, so Krepsi unfortunately just lost out on, you know, $1,000 to $10,000 in all likelihood. Ain't that a bitch? Well, if you've been watching my channel long enough, you know I lost out on $23 million, and I just wake up every day and just want to probably shouldn't say that on YouTube, but anyway, I deal with it. The secret is to just go through every day totally and utterly dead inside. I learned that from Matthias. Also, I mean, obviously, I'm completely insane. So, hey, I probably don't even need to say it, but share your best misprint story, especially one from recently, down in the comment section. And FYI, all comments are held for approval because people post some really dumb shit. So once I go to bed, wake up, and then start approving comments, then, so if it's like, I'd say tomorrow, but it's relative, make sure you scroll down to the comment section for additional entertainment with some crazy-ass stories of people's whack-ass misprints. I might even like try to pin or heart a couple that are like exceptionally crazy. So, yeah, Wizards quality standards, terrible. Kind of, you know, I'd be like cool if they're like some little indie company, some startup, you know, they had to go with the cheaper thing, couldn't afford, you know, better paper, better ink, better quality standards and more staff. And if COVID wasn't going on, but they have a track record of just consistently not giving a crap, despite being arguably the biggest card game in the world. I mean, you don't get to the #1 spot and have that level of prestige and just have this level of quality. Completely unacceptable. And mistakes like, whoops, we forgot to put the product in the box. That's, I mean, it's probably borderline illegal in America. You do it enough, the FTC will breathe down your neck over it. So, get your shit together, Wizards. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you guys next video.